Hi, I'm Anna, and welcome to the D5 Audible Cheat Sheet, the final episode on Madeira. Madeira styles are defined by four overlapping systems: sweetness level, grape variety, aging category, and whether a wine is vintage dated or blended. For the D5 exam, you need to understand how these systems intersect, not treat them as separate lists. Let's start with sweetness level. Madeira is produced at a range of sweetness levels, labeled as extra dry, medium sweet, sometimes called medium rich, and sweet or rich. Importantly, even wines labeled dry contain residual sugar. There is overlap between categories, and producers may label the same wine slightly differently. Sweetness labeling in Madeira signals style, not a precise sugar threshold. Many Madeiras are also varietally labeled, and in these cases, the grape variety acts as a proxy for sweetness level. Cercial is associated with extra dry or dry styles. These wines are typically the palest in color and lightest in body. High acidity dominates, and flavors include citrus peel and nuts. Verdejo is associated with medium dry styles. It has more residual sugar than Cercial, giving a rounder texture and a perception of sweeter flavors such as candied fruits. Color is usually slightly deeper. Boal is associated with medium sweet styles. These wines are fuller bodied, darker in color, and show flavors of caramel, chocolate, and candied nuts. Malvasia, also known as Mamse, is associated with sweet styles. These wines are full bodied, often brown in color, intensely sweet, but balanced by high acidity with flavors of raisins and caramel. Tarantes sits between medium dry and medium sweet. Despite relatively high sugar levels, these wines are always described as delicate. Aromas include citrus peel, caramel, and sometimes floral notes. Tarantes is rare and often reserved for premium categories. Tinta Negra can be used for any sweetness level. Since 2015, it can also be varietally labeled. Unlike the classic white varieties, Tinta Negra does not signal sweetness on its own, so additional style descriptors may be needed. When wines are varietally labeled, an explicit sweetness term does not need to appear on the label, except for Tinta Negra. Since 2015, all Madeira must also include a bottling date. Beyond varietal and sweetness labeling, Madeira has several formal aging categories. Most Madeira sold falls into standard blends, known as corrente. These wines are usually made from Tinta Negra, matured using the estufagem system, and can be released 2 to 3 years after harvest. They often carry a brand name or a general style description rather than age statement. Above this are Madeiras with an indication of age. These are non vintage wines labeled 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, or more than 50 years old. These age indications refer to style, not minimum or average age, and must be approved by IVBAM's tasting panel. Producers must document all batches used in the blend. 5-year old wines are often made predominantly from Tinta Negra and typically involve estufagem. They're usually good to very good in quality and mid priced. Wines labeled 10 years or older are often made from the classic white varieties and exclusively aged using the canteiro system. With increasing age, wines become more concentrated, complex, and acidic. Wines aged 20 years or more are often outstanding in quality and sell at premium or super premium prices. Rainwater Madeira is a specific category. These wines are relatively light in alcohol, body, and flavor concentration, must be medium dry, and can carry a maximum age indication of 10 years. They are typically around 18% ABV. The name is traditionally linked to dilution from rain, though today it signals style rather than production accident. At the top of the hierarchy are vintage wines. Frasqueira, also known as Garrafera, is vintage Madeira aged in wood for a minimum of 20 years. Wines must be made from a single recommended grape variety which appears on the label, along with harvest year and bottling year. Quality is assessed by IVBAM's tasting panel. These wines represent the peak of a producer's range and command super premium prices. Colheita is also single vintage Madeira, but it requires a minimum of 5 years aging in wood. Wines may be single varietal or blended, and the grape variety does not need to appear on the label. Harvest year and bottling year must be stated. Introduced in 2000, this category has become very popular because it allows vintage expression without the long capital tie up of Frasqueira. Now, a quick note on the business context. Madeira's vineyard ownership is extremely fragmented, with over 1,600 growers and an average holding of just zero point 0.3 hectares. In contrast, winemaking and maturation are highly consolidated, with only 8 producers. The three largest are Justino's, Madeira Wine Company, and Enrique and Enrique. Only 2 producers own or rent vineyards, and even then, this covers only a small proportion of their grape needs. As a result, all producers rely on buying grapes, often from hundreds of growers. Agents are commonly used to advise growers during the season and coordinate harvest logistics. Regulation is overseen by IVBAM. This was founded in 2006. IVBAM controls production, stock levels, and quality. Representatives oversee grape reception, maturation stages, vessel sealing, and tasting approval for age indicated and vintage wines. IVBAM also provides technical support to growers. From a sales perspective, Madeira volumes have remained stable. In 2023, total sales were around 3 million litres. Approximately 86% of this volume was young Corrente Madeira, largely made from Tinta Negra. The most popular age indicated wines are 5 and 10-year-old Madeiras. Colheita and Frasqueira together account for only about 2.5% of total volume, but make up a growing share of total sales overall. Overall sales value has reached 21 million euros in 2023, driven by premiumization. France is the largest market by volume, followed by Madeira itself, where tourism plays a major role. Germany and the UK are also important. Inexpensive Madeiras dominate in France and Germany, while higher priced wines are more important in the domestic market and in the United States. Finally, around 20% of Madeira's sales are inexpensive wines used for cooking and food production. These are made by a estufagem and can be released earlier than drinking wines. Some are deliberately modified with salt or pepper for culinary use. For the D5 exam, the key insight is this: Madeira is not a single category, but a tightly regulated system of styles, aging classifications, and market tiers. Its business model depends on extreme durability, blending precision, and premiumization rather than volume growth. If you can explain how style, aging category, and market role align, you are answering at the distinction level. I hope this has helped, and I'll see you at the next episode.